I've always found Ekuanot quite a funny hop because to me it just sounds a little bit like an old Soviet word for somebody who explores the ocean.
Comrade Smirnov, how do you serve the revolution?
Comrade, I am Ekuanot. Hello there and welcome back to Brew Report, where this week we're enjoying Road Trip Ekuanot from Abyss Brewing in Lewis. Over the course of this video, we're going to talk about what this beer looks like, how it smells, how it tastes, and most importantly, whether it's a good beer for you. Let's get cracking. You'll have probably gathered by the way I keep on wanging on about it that I had a pretty great time at the Brew London Festival. Was there with a couple of very good pals, helping them to sell Wee Smoky whiskey for their first trade festival, and we had the good fortune there to be situated next to Abyss Brewing. They came up from Lewis. They won the Brew London Accelerator program back in 2020, and they were back in 2021 to showcase what they had on offer. And talking to their head brewer while we were there, this is essentially one of the things that they really want to promote. This is Road Trip. It's a series of beers they've been producing, highlighting the characteristics, highlighting single hops that they don't feel are getting enough love. So they've been highlighting a range of hops, whether that's Centennial, whether that's Comet, or in this case, Ekuanot. Taking a look first at the can, I mean, the first and foremost what you notice is this Road Trip branding. It is all about this particular series. They're not making any secret of this. If you are a general consumer coming to this, if you don't know the story behind it, it just looks a bit strange. But knowing what this is all about, I'm quite excited to see exactly what this is like. I've never, I believe, tried a single hopped Ekuanot beer before. As I understand it, it's quite a complex hop. It brings aromas of things like apple, of lemon pith, lemon zest, papaya, tropical fruits, berries, which essentially is a long enough list of aromas that this could taste of bloody anything. So I'm really intrigued to see exactly what's inside this can. It's 7% ABV, so on the stronger side, but if you're giving a showcase, you really want to get some flavour, get some oomph behind it, so that makes a lot of sense. And while it does contain wheat, it is suitable for vegans, you'll be relieved to hear. So let's start with how this beer looks. And we've got a fairly hazy, not completely opaque, but fairly hazy orange colour and a white, fairly rough, loose textured white head. So the aroma is really interesting. It's very complex, very complex. Lime, definitely leaving lime zest, maybe a little bit of kaffir lime. And you've got that sort of limey lemon citrus brightness on there, but that's balanced out by some really earthy, herbaceous notes, maybe even a bit of sage, a bit of pepper. It's a bit like perhaps a bit of rubber as well. Yeah, that's a really interesting one. Papaya sweetness I'm just getting there. That's like nothing I've smelled before. This is really interesting. The palate, again, is super complex, super interesting. And again, far more complex than you'd normally expect with just one hop in the mix. You really avoid, you don't get that sort of blending out, that rule of averages that you do when you chuck too many hops in there. You really highlight that this is quite an unusual range of flavours. So you get that citrus brightness, but it's not at all overly sweet. You get that elements of maltiness, but again, that's not overpowering. There's a decent amount of bitterness, that earthy, herbaceous, I don't know whether it's sage or whether it's something else in there, but slightly grassy note in there as well. All sort of mixed together makes this really complex and quite challenging beer. It's interesting, and I desperately want to drink the rest of this. This is phenomenal. The mouthfeel is smooth, but not overly thick. It's not creamy. It's more just sort of quite smooth, quite satisfying. Just a touch of carbonation to keep the bubbles on the tongue, just to keep things interesting. And the finish, again, goes on for quite a long time. There's a boozy warmth there, there's a decent amount of bitterness, and that like slightly grassy, slightly earthy, herbaceous note lingering off for a long time as well. This is a really interesting beer, and it's one that I would absolutely want my friends, my beer enthusiast friends, to try, because I think, for me, a single hopped Ekuanot beer is pretty unusual, and I'm pretty sure for them as well, it's something that they're unlikely to have come across. So in that sense, for the real beer geeks out there, the ones who really want to sort of broaden their expertise, broaden their knowledge, this is fantastic, and I'm very grateful for the chance to try it for exactly that reason. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to anybody who's newer to the world of beer, nor to anybody who's a bit more traditional in their beer taste. But if you're willing to get adventurous, this is quite fun. But that's about enough from me. What I want to hear now is, what did you think? Have you tried this beer? Have you tried any single hopped Ekuanot beer? Whatever your thoughts on that, I would be really interested to hear in the comments down below. If you like the sound of this beer, if you think it sounds interesting, challenging, fun, then do check out Abyss Brewing. They've got a tap room opening in the autumn, so if you happen to be on the south coast, if you happen to be in the Lewis area, do go down and check them out. They're a fantastic bunch of people, very friendly, and they make a cracking beer. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel and check out brewreport.co.uk for fresh beer reviews every Sunday. And until next time, happy drinking.